The future of Sunset Bay Resort is at stake as the owners assess the devastation left behind by Tropical Storm Erica. A call for a neighborhood watch following a string of unexplained fires in Point Michelle, and $1 million in post-Erica recovery funds for Dominica's agriculture. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up. Topping the news, the Battley-based Sunset Bay Club and Seaside Resort is one of 10 accommodations working to restore business for this tourist season in the aftermath of Storm Erica. Idona John Baptist has this report.
When you hear about Sunset Bay Resort, you think about scrumptious seafood and an environment which offers a private beach with access to diving and snorkeling. The 14-room accommodation property has been in business for 20 years and employs 30 people. Tropical Storm Erica, however, brought business to a halt. 77 out of the 88 accommodations Discover Dominica Authority has contacted are operational, while 10 should reopen shortly. It will take some $200,000 to get Sunset Bay Resort fully operational. A rehabilitation project is underway at the resort. They also have to create a temporary water supply originating from the Battley River with a filtration system while they await pipe-borne water to be restored in the neighboring community of Colibistry.
The whole riverside area has been destroyed, and some land has been taken off that side. So we have to make it become again as it was before. It's a lot of work. Then we have the back of the restaurant building, which was taken away by the river flood, and also our jetty is totally destroyed. Is no more actually. So luckily our rooms have not been touched. All the other buildings are fine. The infrastructure is really fine, but it's just the riverside which has taken a lot of damage. So we are getting ready, working every day, morning till evening, to get back to business.
And getting back to business, especially during this period, means a lot for any hotelier. The cruise season opened on Monday, and November through April is the peak season for stay-over visitors.
Well, it's high season as of the 1st of November, and then again, you know, as of 15th of October, tourism season picks up. So it's very important because we get long stays. You see, in the high season, we get people from Switzerland, from Belgium, from France, Berlin, from the States, Canada. So they are longer stays. There are a minimum of 7 to 10 nights, 14 nights, and this makes it the high season.
The owners are targeting the 22nd of October to reopen their doors. Riverside works will continue while they're up and running.
We have 30 people at home. 30 people who used to work at Sunset Bay Club. They are moms, they are dads, they have children, they have personal bills to be checking, and it's time for them to get back on track of that and to take control of their own life again, financial part of life. And we really need to get open because we have been reimbursing people that have not been able to come here because it's closed. And on the 22nd, we have a big group coming.
And 3 vacant houses have been set on fire within 7 days in Point Michelle. Investigators are not ruling out arson.
Point Michelle is on the alert for a suspected arsonist as residents fear more houses could be set on fire. The first incident last Wednesday happened on the highway, and the community didn't think much of it because it was a fire at a small unoccupied wooden structure. What raised concern was when fires broke out at 2 buildings in Pori, Point Michelle, 2 days in a row this week. Marcel Badwell is the caretaker of one of these houses. He lives just about 200 meters from both houses.
We find us very, very strange, like, you know, empty houses to say. And well, I only hope the police will catch whoever is responsible for that. One of the houses here, I have the key for the house, and the owner actually lives in England, you know. But the property has been empty for quite a few years. It's next to St. Luke's primary school. I do not know whether it would have been a danger if that fire really take over, whether it could have blown over to the school.
Badwill and his wife live near 2 other unoccupied houses and fear there could be more house fires.
I'm quite worried that, you know, the arsonists might try one of these houses. Actually, the day before I was patrolling. You know, I sat in my veranda with my torchlight, hoping to see whoever, you know, moving around, like, you know, but I wasn't successful. And I'll be doing it again. I'll be on my guard. My friend there, you know, he does the same thing, you know, because he gets up very early in the morning, and he's also on his watch, you know. But I believe the police should do a little bit more, patrolling the areas and so on, especially, you know, where there are empty houses, you know.
Investigations into the fires are ongoing.
The fires that we are talking about are that which happened in Point Michel on Monday morning and Tuesday morning, just about 4 a.m. And we also had one on Wednesday last week, which also brought up a red flag. And we have not ruled out arson in those fires because there is a suspicious nature to how those fires occurred. What is even a bit more alarming is that the owners of those buildings are out of state, and those buildings had no electrical supply.
The fire department is encouraging the community to adopt a neighborhood watch approach to help them with investigations.
We have also asked them to be vigilant in protecting their property. So it's not a bad thing to be looking out for the neighbor, and neighbor looks out for the neighbors. And those particular properties, those which are not occupied at that time, we're asking persons to look out, and if you see anything suspicious, either report it to the police or report it to the fire department.
In other news, the Ministry of Agriculture to receive over $1 million towards the rehabilitation of the industry severely affected by Tropical Storm Erica. Lurian Graham Carter has more.
Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drygo, in an interview with Channel 5 News this week, announced that they have received word that as early as next week, funds would be coming in to begin works in various sectors of the industry. The minister revealed the sectors most affected by the storm.
Since most of our rivers and ravines exploded during Erica, our dashing farmers suffered tremendous losses. Our livestock farmers suffered tremendous losses, both in the poultry and pork industry. Our vegetable farmers, they took a pounding as well. Farmers who depended on irrigation systems for their vegetables lost most of their facility.
Minister Drygo says a lot of farm access roads were also destroyed. He says the storm affected the projection of the agriculture industry, but not the vision. Drygo says he is heartened by support from friendly governments and institutions, the first from the Propel project this week.
They are giving us 50,000 Canadian dollars for the white potato industry. We will, early next week, we will have officials of FAO here with us. They will be giving us some 300,000 US to go towards assisting us with feeder roads and fertilizers and other planting materials. We will be getting also some 50,000 US dollars from AICA. This will go towards assisting women in agriculture.
Minister Drygo revealed that the banana accompanying measure will be sending some 36,000 gallons of oil to continue the fight against black sigatoka. He says although they lost some banana plants, much were not lost to the storm.
We have also on island over 20,000 pineapple plantlets as well for the pineapple subsector. Our program for the bringing in support for the small ruminant program is definitely on.
The ministry is currently engaged in distribution of fertilizer for root crops. They are also expecting 20,000 bags of fertilizer from BAM within the month of October. The minister says a consultation next week will allow farmers and stakeholders the opportunity to voice their challenges and how best government can help them.
And the Bethesda Methodist Church has gotten involved in helping those disadvantaged by Tropical Storm Erica. Andrea Louis has that story.
In late August, the country experienced widespread damage to roads and buildings as a result of the rains, flooding and landslides caused by the tropical storm. Dominica has been receiving generous donations of relief items from overseas-based individuals, organizations and governments since the passage of the storm, and this assistance is being put to good use. However, one matter which is of great concern to the people of the country is that of accommodation for those who lost their houses during the tropical storm. The Methodist Church in Dominica will be playing its part in providing housing for those in need. This facet is among the long-term plans of the church to assist those heavily affected by the storm.
We have been in consultation with Dr. Benjamin, and he will be training some of our people as counselors so that we can respond to the emotional need, etc. We've also been talking with Dr. Samuel Christian in relation to what he call a mobile clinic, and that those are longer term plans we have for the relief. We also have been talking about housing. You may have heard about the St. Andrew's High School, a school formerly operated by the Methodist Church at Londonderry. The premises is there, the buildings are there, they need refurbishing, and we felt that it would be a good intermediary plan in terms of offering housing. It could house about maybe 25 families.
The church also has a strategy in place to assist individuals on a one-on-one basis from its Rosa office. The church is also involved in a mass response activity.
And individuals can walk into this relief center here at our church hall, and they can be helped with relief items, food, clothing, water, etc. And that is our first response, the individual response. There's also a mass response. We have adopted the West Coast in terms of the people there who would have been affected by the storm, people in Kulibistri and Kalihu. Our program also includes people from the evacuated areas, Petisavan and Dubique, especially when they were in the centers. And so that would have been the sort of mass response.
The Salvation Army had partnered with the Methodist Church to assist Dominicans following the tropical storm.
The relief program will take the form of vouchers that we'll take to various proprietors around Dominica, around Roseau, and you would be able to get items, be it food or clothing or school supplies. They want us to target primarily children and youth.
In more news now, head of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, Wesley Gibbons, is calling for access to information laws in countries where they do not yet exist. This was one of two resolutions passed at a recent meeting of the association where a new executive was elected. Gibbons has been re-elected president.
In order for people to pursue development, they need access to information. And I think that how that would concretize itself in terms of actions by the ACM, it would be to further promote our campaign for all countries within the CARICOM region to have access to information laws, and that those that already have, the 5 that already have access to information laws, that is strengthen those laws and make them more meaningful. The other resolution had to do with impunity. Though in this part of the world we do not have a very poor record with respect to impunity for crimes against journalists. But we do have a trend that's setting in now that appears to have that peril in sight. And so this is more of a sort of preemptive action by the ACM and its member organizations to bring attention to the fact that there are parts of the world where crimes against journalists are committed and the perpetrators of those crimes get away scot-free.
Gibbons says journalists need to get more involved in their own affairs, focusing more on their profession and the development as an industry. He said strengthening of national media associations was a priority area for the ACM. Meantime, former president of the ACM, Clive Backus, says the media in the region is challenged in doing its job.
Media workers are facing dire conditions of work in the region, remuneration, employment, and conditions in which if you try to do journalism in its proper way, you ought to know where your money is coming from. Because the private sector, owners of the media in the private sector, imitate the owners of the media and the state media, or imitate the people who run the state media or the state-controlled media. And that media ownership now determines what gets published, what doesn't get published, and people seem to be more keen on sports, entertainment, gossip. And in newsrooms, you're finding they're either shrinking the number of staffers, or they're stealing news and selling it back without attribution.
Bakker says we live in a day when no one wants to pay for investigative news pieces. He would like to see corporate interests sponsor investigative pieces on the major issues facing countries in the region. You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Solid Waste Corporation's plans for plastic reduction in Dominica. Thank you for staying with us. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation sees exporting of waste material as the way forward to reduce the influx at the Fokole landfill.
The Fonkole Sanitary Landfill was commissioned in 2005 and was built to the tune of $10 million with grant funds from the European Union and the World Bank. Public Relations Officer of Solid Waste Management, Geno Jacob, says the landfill has a 15-year lifespan, but they have less than 5 years left before they run out of space. Jacob says with the most recent increase in plastic material at the landfill, they have a solution that would incorporate the use of the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle.
We don't recycle in Dominica, but our Solid Waste Management Act gives us the tool to collect those waste, that types of recyclable waste, to collect recyclable waste, to store recyclable waste, and to treat recyclable waste for shipment overseas. And the type of shipment we do is containerizing of that waste, treating it on the landfill, and shipping by containers to overseas markets.
Solid Waste is already engaged in export of cardboards, broken glass, and used LED acid batteries, and they hope to begin soon with containerized plastic. Meanwhile, the corporation's PRO is suggesting that people find ways to reuse the materials they already have.
People have to reuse other items, reuse plastic bags, not go to the shop or the supermarket and get another plastic bag, but use, let's say, the carry baskets, for example, to stop produce. Use cloth, bags made out of cloth and other items to stop produce, and to go shopping with. So plastics for us is an item which we are now placing special emphasis on.
The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation hopes that legislation will soon be enacted to reduce the volumes of plastic being imported into Dominica.
And DOMLEC continues efforts at replacing equipment at hydropower stations damaged by Tropical Storm Erica.
During the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, 3 of DOMLEC's hydro facilities were severely damaged, resulting in a below-normal drop in the company's electricity production. The company's generation manager says engineers have been brought in to assess the damage to the hydro plants.
It is going to take us some time to get these systems back into service, because in the case of the Clarks River system, we have to bring equipment up there in order to clear the intake and the landslides. And we also have to replace these pipelines, and these are special pipelines that are not available in Dominica. We have already brought in engineers from England, who are the equipment manufacturer, the manufacturer of the turbines at Padu. They were here, we did an assessment. We have our action plan from them. In another week or two, we'll be bringing some other engineers from Italy, who are the manufacturers of the generator. The generator was completely flooded and with debris and stuff, so we have to take it apart, overhaul it with their assistance. Our focus now is to just, at all costs, get the hydro system back up, because, as you say, we're down about 50% of our capacity right now, and we want to restore that capacity for customer service reasons.
Stamp says assessments are being done before the company can claim insurance money for the damaged equipment.
Our brokers and insurance personnel, they were here. They came less than a week after the damage, and they walked with us with a complete assessment of the various areas. And we are in the process now of putting together all the information to them. As you can see, because of the vastness and the complexity of the DOMLEC system, insurance process is not simple. It's not as simple as if it was a loss of a car or something like that. There are lots of components, and the policies are a little complex and requires a lot of information, feedback between us and the insurance people, insurance companies. So the process is still in progress.
Amidst consumer fears of an increase in the electricity bill, Stamp has advice on how Dominicans can save electricity.
From a consumer point of view, here is the highest consumption of things that have to, appliances that have to heat up. So your electric iron, your water heater, those stuff, those are some of the highest consumers of electricity, as simple as you see them. So anything that requires heat in order to operate. And another way, although initially some people think the initial cost may be a little out of the way, is to change out some of your bulbs, like the incandescent bulb, because incandescent bulbs use heat in order to generate light. Right, so change out these to fluorescent or LEDs and all of that.
Stamp appeals to Domlec customers to be patient during the company's restoration efforts.
We just want the customer to understand that it is still a trying time, and Domlec is doing its best in order to ensure that they have the best customer service possible. And we are working behind the scenes non-stop. And although some people will see that they have power and all of that, there's still a lot of work going on behind the scenes to bring the rest of our system that is still down up.
In education, teachers have been called upon to be more dedicated to their profession as they embark on a new school term.
Following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica in August, the opening of schools had been delayed due to damaged road networks, buildings, and utility services. Effective Monday, 5th October, all schools on island are now open, and children are getting acquainted with their curriculum and the work expected of them. Dominica's education minister says the late start of the school year calls for teachers to amplify their efforts in imparting knowledge to students.
And although we have returned to some semblance of normalcy within a remarkable period, we have lost vital teaching and learning time. In order to compensate for the time lost, all of you teachers, carvers and shapers of our destiny, you are encouraged today to redouble your efforts to maximize time on task for students.
Teachers were urged to recognize the importance of educating children who were severely affected by the tropical storm.
Make sacrifices by spending more time at school. Increase your efforts to be punctual and regular for school. And please, I admonish you, give up some of the prescribed vacation time, all in an effort to ensure that our students maximize benefits of learning opportunities.
Seja implored the teachers to be understanding of the current situation of the education system as a result of Erica.
I know it may be demanding, but these are the actions that we will have to take to ensure that our students can achieve success. I call on all teachers to continue working with your union, continue working with the Ministry of Education in ensuring the efficiency of the Dominica education system. I encourage schools to heed the advice of the Ministry of Education during such challenging times. After all, I believe we are one system, and as such, we should all be singing with one mighty voice. We will only be better as a system if we work together.
Serja was speaking at the healing service to observe World Teachers' Day on Friday.
And Dominicans are being encouraged to showcase their Creole culture during the month of October.
Cultural Projects Officer at the Division of Culture made the remark following an unimpressive showing of traditional wear in the streets of Roseau on Friday. For the past few years, Dominicans recognized every Friday in October as Creole Friday and displayed their Creole culture by wearing something traditional. The Independence cultural season normally runs from late September to 4th November each year.
Of course, it's tradition, and tradition every Friday in October is what you would, well, I call it for some Creole Fridays, but really it's about hard Creole, it's about wearing the Creole fashion, Creole dress, or the zip duet, whatever you choose to, but that is appropriate because people are at work, so obviously you have to wear Creole fashions that are appropriate to your work setting. But yes, on Friday, every Friday in October, we encourage the population to wear the Creole fashions to work, and people who go out shopping and all of that, so it reflects that.
The destruction caused by the tropical storm had forced authorities to reduce the number of independence-related activities for 2015. Rabes says, however, that Dominicans still need to be proud in exhibiting their local culture.
The nation is in a particular, it's like still in a very sort of sad mode in that sense. But yes, we can wear our Creole fashion and dress to also give the spirit of the people and to show to the world too that we are people, we are resilient people, we are strong, that we have faced that adversity, and like Hurricane David and now Erica, and that we can demonstrate to the world that we are stronger and will come back stronger than before. Toujours plus fort.
That's news. Sports is next with Andrea Louis.
In sports, the first karate examination of the Universal Martial Arts Academy, Robin Rue, will be held later in October, where 30 to 45 students will be assessed. Also, about 6 students will be vying for their black belts and instructors' diplomas in December at the academy. This diploma is internationally recognized and paves the way for students to start their own martial arts academy if they wish. Robin says his dream is to have the academy become a franchise in the region and by doing so have more persons join in.
Robin is basically an international system. Dominica is our world headquarters. It is treated in Dominica, and we are actually branching out into the outer world very, very soon. Our next branch is going to be in Canada, and then we're going to have one in Barbados, hopefully. And we have affiliations with New York, Florida, Bermuda. So we are going.
Following a recently published student manual, Sensei Shanna Robin announced that plans were underway to have it available for purchase online. He adds that the manual is one that parents can refer to since it helps them better understand what goes on at the academy and the rules that govern the sessions. Robin says his students are ready for regional competition, but chooses to keep them from doing so since he wants to ensure that their performance is reflective of the effectiveness of the academy. Dominica's Nature Island Challenge 3.0 NIC to premiere Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. This show saw teams from around the world hiking mainly along the Waitukubuli National Trail, covering approximately 40 miles. Discover Dominica Authority hosted the show in an attempt to attract nature lovers to the country. Nature Island Challenge can be viewed by subscribers of Universal Sports and YouTube and will be aired on Caribbean television networks soon. The Westmar Rangers Athletics Club, in collaboration with the Emmanuel Andrew Sports Foundation and family of the late Emmanuel Andrew, will be hosting the first Emmanuel Andrew Memorial 10K Road Race on Sunday, 18th October in Marigot. The race is expected to begin at 3 p.m., start from Wesley and end at the Marigot Fisheries Complex. Cash prizes and other awards are expected to be given to the top performers of the race. More details will be given in a subsequent sportscast. And slamming down in Domino Wednesday night was Hoodem with 87 doors, 3 points, Maho 68 doors, 2 points, and Green City 53 doors, 1 point in Game 1. Following them were attackers 83 dose 3 points, Call for Duty 68 dose 2 points, and the Martian with 66 dose 2 points. The night's game culminated with Melvinas having 80 dose 3 points, Wyandat 79 dose 2 points, and Strikers 54 dose 1 point. That's all the time we have for sports. Join us next time.
And if you live in a flood-prone area, the word is still caution. Your weather report is next.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. The tropical wave continued to affect the Lesser Antilles today, and infrared satellite imagery showed most of the convection associated with this wave across the islands to the south and north of Dominica. Meanwhile, visible satellite imagery showed embedded thunderstorms across the leewards and southern windwards. Predominantly high-level clouds were observed across Dominica. By early afternoon, horizontal visibility was significantly reduced as Saharan dust haze moved into the area. We'll now move on to today's radar imagery, which indicated most of the showers and thunderstorm activity associated with the tropical wave across the southern windwards and leewards. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and hazy with some scattered showers. These conditions are expected to persist into tomorrow. Sea conditions tomorrow will be moderate in open water, with waves picking up to 7 feet. Some caution is advised. And looking at our 72-hour projection, a high-pressure system is establishing itself across the area, which will result in much drier conditions. Also, in the central Atlantic, is a tropical wave which is expected in our area towards the end of next week. And looking ahead, partly cloudy to cloudy skies, haze and some scattered showers are expected into Sunday. And across the Lesser Antilles, occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers are expected across the entire chain. And on the international scene, there's a chance of thunderstorm activity in New York and Caracas, with fair to partly cloudy skies in Miami, London, and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:56 a.m. and will set at 5:49 p.m. For further information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a good night.
And that's news. The headlines again. The future of Sunset Bay Resort is at stake as the owners assess the devastation left behind by Tropical Storm Erica. A call for a neighborhood watch following a string of unexplained fires in Point Michelle. And $1 million in post-Erica recovery funds for Dominica's agriculture. Remember, you can catch the news on YouTube. Let us know what you think. Email us at news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.